Hey guys, good to see you again. I'm really pleased with the efforts you guys made on getting those polynomial activities done. Adding and subtracting, you did a pretty good job. I think some of you struggled at first, but I think you got better as you went on, and that was good, and that's the whole point. So um, keep doing the best you can. If you have questions, let me know. I finally got my YouTube channel to work, so hopefully that will make this better. Maybe not, I don't know, we'll see. Um, but we're going to get going on some more. We are going to skip a section. We're going to 8.3 here, but it's still multiplying. Okay, and I'm going to show you three methods. Okay, FOIL is one of them. I'm going to show you the vertical method, which is for some reason not highlighted here in this section right here, and the other one is using a Punnett square, something like this. Okay. And this part here is kind of what we're skipping. So I'll just show you guys that real quick here. We've lesson in one this before where we have 3 times 2x plus 4, right? And you distribute, you got 6x, and then you got your 12, right? Well, what happens when there's a variable on that 3x, say like a 3x times 2x plus 4? Now we have to follow the rules that we had in chapter 7. Okay, where you add your exponents. So 3x times 2x is going to be 6x squared, and then 3x times 4 is going to be the 12x. You'll remember yesterday, a couple days ago, these two things are not like terms, are they? So they cannot be added together. So I leave it just like it is, okay? And also notice the other day when we did this 4x plus 5x, that made 9x. It didn't make 9x squared. We left the variable the same, okay? The only time the variable changes, the exponent, is when we multiply like we did here, okay? So we might have something like 3x to the 5th times x to the 3rd plus 2x squared. Okay, well that's going to be 3x to the 8th, just following the whole rules that we did last time, okay, from the last chapter. And then this would be 6x to the 7th. 3 times 2 is 6. X to the 5th and x to the 2nd makes x to the 7th, okay? That's kind of what we're skipping. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's something that we've already done. We're just combining two of those things that we did. That's all. So, but that's a going on there. All right, so, I think the FOIL method, I think they start off with vertical here, so I'm going to show you that. But the FOIL method stands for first, outside, inside, last. And we'll get into what those words are talking about in a little bit here. Okay? And a quadratic expression is anything that is squared. So this would be a quadratic expression. Okay? It's a quadratic. All right, so the vertical method is the way I learned. My teacher didn't even show us FOIL. When I got to college, I learned about FOIL, and I wondered why we were cooking in math class, because that's where you use aluminum foils in the kitchen. But anyway, if I'm going to multiply two numbers, I take the 2 times the 4, right? And that gives me 8. I'm going to get rid of this. And then I would take this 2 times this 2, right? And that would give me a 4 there. And then what do? I leave a blank. And then I start with the 1. And I go, all right, 1 times 4 is 4. And then I go 1 times 2. And that gives me a 2. And then I just add them up, right? So I got 8, 8, and 2. So we're going to do the same thing when we have something like this. This guy times this guy. Notice these are two binomials, okay? This would work with any polynomial. Okay, but let's go back. Let's go to a new page, and I'll show you what it was. Yes, that's here. So I got y plus 8 times y minus 4. I believe that's what it was. Okay, and so, just like before, we're going to take the first one times the first one. Okay, so that's negative 32. And then I'm going to take the 4 times the y. Well, it's a negative 4, so it's going to be negative 4y. And then I leave a blank, just like we did when we were multiplying. Now I'm going to take this y times the 8. So that's going to be a positive 8y. And then I got y times y. And using our rules from the last chapter, that's going to be y squared, right? We add the exponents. Y to the first times y to the first. 1 and 1 makes 2. So now I collect my like terms, which is what we did Monday and Tuesday. We were collecting like terms. So these two are like terms, aren't they? So I got y squared plus 4y, because 8 minus 4 is 4. And then I got my minus 32. And there's my quadratic expression. Okay? We're just multiplying two binomials. And we're going to make them into a quadratic expression that's a trinomial. It's not always going to be a trinomial, but it usually will be, but not always. All right. Here's another one. It's the same idea. You just go, I can rewrite this 2x plus 1 and x plus 6. So I'm going to take 6 times 1, and it's positive, and then I'm going to take 6 times 2x, and that's going to be 12x. And then I leave a blank, and then I start here. X times 1 is 1x, or just x, and it's positive. And then I got 2x times x is 2x squared. Now I add up my like terms. So I got 2x squared plus 13x, because these two are like terms, so they add together, and they're both positive. And then plus 6, and that's what they got. Remember, this is not where it's supposed to be. It should look like this here. All right, so there's one for you guys to try. This here would be your answer. Give that a try. Take a look at that. You can stop the video if you need to. There's another one, and it looks like this is going to be your answer here, B. Okay, so give those a try. Stop the video if you need to. All right, the FOIL method here. This is where that first outside inside last came from. The F is the first term in each binomial. The x here and the x here. Okay? The outside is the ones on the outside. You'll notice this O down here. It's this one here and this one here. They're on the outside of it. Then the I is the inside terms that are touching each other. And then the L stands for last, which would be the 4 and the 2. Okay? And so we just do them in that order. And you can see they've worked them all out here. And then they got some like terms, and they put those together. It's the same idea. Okay? The thing about FOIL is it only works for 2 by 2. I got a 2-term and a 2-term, a binomial times a binomial. If I had a binomial times a trinomial, FOIL wouldn't work. So if I took this guy times this, I couldn't use FOIL, but I could use the vertical method, which I showed you a minute ago. Okay? All right, so let's try one here. I've got z minus 6 and z minus 12. So I'm going to make a new page here. And I'm going to put my customary, that's what I do to my z's. I put that little line in so you know that that's a z. All right, so the first term in each one is z times z, which is z squared. Okay? The outside term are these two. So that's a z times a negative 12, which is negative 12z. The inside would be these two. Well, that's a z times a negative 6, which would be a negative 6z. And then my last terms are these two, which is negative 6 times negative 12, which is positive 72. So the only like terms I have are these two. So I got z squared, got this guy. And then I got negative 18z, which is these two. And then I got a positive 72. So I've used everything, and there is my term. First, outside, inside, last. You just multiply them all and then add them up. It's very similar to doing it the other way. I mean, we'd come up with these 4 terms if we'd done the vertical method. Okay, if I'd have done it vertically, I'd have a positive 72 and a negative 12z. Look at that. There's those two right there. And then I'd leave my blank, and I got my negative 6z and my z squared. Look, there they are. Boom, boom. And then we add them up, and we'd get the same exact answer. Okay? So they work the same kind of way. All right, so let's try another one of these FOIL here. So if I go first term would be x squared. My outside terms is going to be a negative 3x. My inside term is going to be a positive 2x. And my last term is going to be a negative 6. So these two go together, and I got x squared minus x minus 6. And that's this guy right here. Okay? So on time, try a few of those ways to do it. Okay? Now, I'm showing you 3 methods. I'm going to allow you to do however you want. I mean, to me, I would familiarize myself with the first and the last method because, like I said, the FOIL only works for 2x2s. So, I mean, that's going to be a quick way to do those, but you need to know one of the other ones in case we have larger ones, which we're going to. So, I'm going through this fast, but just take it. I'm going to... All right, so if we're trying to find the area of this patio, it's, remember, triangle's 1/2 the height times the base. So here's the height, and here's the base, and we've got to take 1/2 of that. So that way, if I do this one here, I could go, well, they put the wrong thing on there, didn't they? It's supposed to be a 4. But anyway, we could go, oh, that's not near big enough. I'm going to erase that. I could go x and minus 7 here, and 6x and 4 here. So to fill in this first box, I'm going to take x and 6x times each other and get 6x squared. And then the next box over, I'm going to do these two. And that's going to give me my negative 42x. Those look familiar? And then if I do this one here, x and 4, so that's going to be 4x. And then this last one here is going to be negative 7 and 4. It's negative 28. Now again, there's my diagonals, and they are, that diagonal is like terms. So I got 6x squared minus 38x minus 28. And again, if you take half of that, you get your answer. All right, so it works for every. Go ahead and go through some of these. For next page here, they write that out for us, don't they? Okay, so what we got to do is figure out what these make and then take half of it. Okay, so if I've got, I don't like what they've done here. They didn't put them together yet. That's kind of dumb. But so if I go first terms, I got 6x squared. My outside term, I got 4x. My inside term, I have negative 42x. And my last term is these two, is going to be a negative 28. And so I got 6x squared minus 38x, because these two go together. That's going to be a negative 38 and a negative 28 there. And now I've got to take a half of it. So half of each of those things, well, that's going to be 3x squared minus 19x plus 14. There would be the area of our triangle. Vertically, I'm going to do the vertical method here. Let's see if that's what it, yay, we got it right. Okay, now if you wanted to do minus 7 and 6x plus 4, so I'm going to take my 4 times my 7 is negative 28, and then I'm going to take my 4 times my x is a 4x, and I leave a blank, and then I'm going to take 6x times 7, and it's a negative 7, so it's going to be negative 42x. And then I got 6x times x is 6x squared. Okay, and you'll notice that these look very familiar, don't they? 6x squared minus 38x minus 28. And if I take half of all of them, I'm going to end up with this again, aren't I? Okay, it works really slick. The vertical method, I like it a lot. It's what I grew up with. So whatever, it works really well. This before this, and then there's another explanation of that. No biggie. Let's go back and try the problem. I show you the third method. All right, so now this next one here, I want you to try it. Just find the area of the rectangle. So you're going to multiply those two things together and see what you get. Obviously, the answer is going to be supposed to be 12x squared plus 11x plus 2. See if you can get that answer. And then you can stop the video if you need. I'm going to show the third method here in just a second. So, all right. So the other method is called the Punnett square. So if you have something like this, what you do is you make a Punnett square, and you just put the elements of one on the top and the elements of the other down the side. And it doesn't matter which one goes where. And I only put a sign in if it's negative. So this is the only sign that I have there. Okay? And I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so now to fill in each box, I just multiply. You know, what is x times x? Well, it's x squared. All right. What is x times 7? That's going to be 7x. What is x times negative 6? That's going to be negative 6x. And then the last part here is negative 6 times 7. And so in that box is going to go a negative 42. Now, in general, the like terms are going to be the diagonal here, like this. So we are left with x squared, that's the first box, and then 7 minus 6 is 1, so it's going to be plus x, or 1x, I could say, and then minus 42, and there is my answer. Okay? So I could go back and do the other ones the same way. Should we try that? All right, so now, those are your three methods. So I'm going to do a problem each way here. So I got vertical, I got FOIL, and I got Punnett square. All right, so vertical, if I got, let's say, 2x plus 5 times x plus 4, and I got 2x plus 5 times x plus 4, and I got 2x plus 5 and x plus 4. We're going to do them all three ways. So I got 20, 4 times 5, and it's positive, and then I got 4 times 2x. So I start here, I'm going to take these two, and then these two. Okay, and then I leave it blank, and then I'm going to start with the x and the 5. So that's 5x, and it's positive. And then I'm going to take 2x times x is 2x squared. So 2x squared plus 13x, because 8 and 5 makes 13, and then plus 20. So we better get the same answer for this one. So first term, it's going to be 2x times x is 2x squared. That's a great squared there. Outside term is going to be 2x times 4. That's going to be 8x. Inside term is going to be 5x. And last term is going to be 5 times 4, which is 20. And again, these two come together to give us our 13x, don't they? On this one here, I got x times 2x. That's going to be 2x squared. On this one here, I'm going to have x and 5x, or I'm sorry, x and 5 is 5x. On this one, I'm going to have 2x and 4, so that's 8x. And on this one, I got 5 and 4, which is 20. And again, these are like terms, and so they go together again to make that 13, don't they? And so each one of these would have come up with this answer. Let's try one more just to make sure. This is a little bit different because you'll notice that they're the same but different signs. I wonder what's going to happen here. So if I do FOIL, I got x squared, right? Come on, buddy. This times this. My outside term would be a negative 7x. My inside term would be a positive 7x. And my last term, negative 49. What's going to happen here? They're going to cancel. So I only have two terms. So like I said, usually it's going to be a trinomial, but in this case, it's only a binomial because these two are gone. What does that look like in a Punnett square? Same thing. You got x squared, 7x here, negative 7x, and negative 49, and guess what? Those two like terms you realize are going to cancel. And you'd have the same thing if you did it this way. You get negative 49, negative 7x, 0. Then you get a positive 7x and an x squared. And again, those would cancel out. Okay, so let me know if you have questions. I'm going to post this, and then around noon or so, or 1 o'clock, I'll post an assignment up for you to a quick check and a quiz is. So make sure you use the link for the quick check. Last time it was a little bit weird. I'm not sure why it did that, but the quiz seems to work really well for you guys. So good luck.